Okay, I'm here to try something new and different today. I'm also excited because I finally got a decent microphone. I'm looking forward to seeing how this will sound. It's kind of hard to tell even when you play it back on your computer. But I just got a blue ice or a blue ice ball. And it's a pretty decent mic. Snowball ice, that's what they call it, because it's just a big ball on top of a stick or a mount. But that's not important, because today I wanted to do a comparison between the Killing on Carnival Row script written by Travis Beacham in 2005 and compare it with the actual show that came out in 2019, came out earlier this year, which I didn't actually do any kind of review of. Maybe I should have, but I really want to do a kind of comparison because the script is, pretty different. And plus, it was written 15 years ago or whatever, and it took this long for it to finally come into a thing. Like it sat in development hell for a long time, and I actually discovered it in like 2009 on Script Shadow, a pretty popular screenwriting site that you should probably check out. This is like their review of the actual show they did back in September, but as you can see, it's still in the Reader Top 25, and it's been on this site for I don't know how long. I mean, look at here. August 10th, 2009 was when they first put the script on here, and I remember I found it off here. I don't know if it's still here to download, because they would like link to scripts, but I guess it's not an amateur script anymore. It's not an amateur script. See, no link. But even 10 years later, it's still on the Reader Top 10. See, look, I can't even show it on the side because this is like, the link has changed. I think it used to be Script Shadow something else. Now it's scriptshadow.net. But it's still here in the top spot in the Reader Top 25. It was for a long time, and it used to be over here on the owner's top 5, but now it's not there at all. But that's a whole other thing. This is just about the difference between the script, and visually it's still similar. It's the dark fantasy. It's not really about how it looks. The story-wise, it's changed a lot. I think one of the biggest changes is the relationship between Philostrate and Vignette. They in the script they didn't know each other. They meet in like the second act or whatever. But in the show, they have a history, which was a better choice. I mean, I don't know if it really would have mattered. I mean, them hooking up was pretty clear that it was going to happen in the show. So, but having a history made it easier, or it made it more conflict, because, they had a history, but she was mad at him because he lied and told someone to tell her that he was dead. And then she finds out he's alive, and but it was obvious that they're gonna get back together. It's pretty clear. But in the script, yeah, they didn't have any history. They just meet each other and kind of go on the run. When Philostrate, I guess that's how he says his name. It's hard to say it properly. Is what do they call it? Framed. Yeah, he was framed for someone's murder. I forget now. But another difference is in the script compared to the show. In the show, there's just not as many creatures. Like in the show, there's like fairies, and then there's the fawns, which everyone calls pucks. And then there's, I think there was like some werewolves here and there, but not that much. And it was mainly just humans, fairies, and pucks. But in the book, there's lizard type creatures. There's like men, half dragons. There's like animals that are like created from different pieces of other animals, like Frankenstein type animals or something. And yeah, I mean, there's Tourmaline. Yeah, she was in the show too. I forget her. I actually watched the show. Yeah, here it is, Tourmaline LaRue. I watched the show like, was it 2 months ago, 3 months ago? So I should have done this earlier, but I'm doing this now because I just got this new mic and I wanted to make a video right away. And this is the first idea I had. But I don't have a proper stand for it yet. Like, standing on the table, it's way too low, annoyingly low. I don't know why, because I have to bend over really far to talk into it or pick it up and hold it. But now I'm gonna have to get an arm stand, which is fine. Those make more sense anyways. So I can just talk into it without using one of my hands. Yeah, there's a relationship between Tourmaline and Phyllis Strait. They have a history. But in the show, she's more of like just a friend to Vignette, and they don't really know each other. I can't remember if they know each other or they only meet after they meet, and she's instantly suspect of him. I don't know, because he's human, I guess. Although in the show he's a half-blood. And I don't remember if that was part of the script. Pretty sure it was like just created for the show. In the script, he's not. In the script, Phyllis Strait is not a half-blood fairy who got his wings cut off when he was younger. But they did that in the show. This is the Wikipedia page. I don't know. I was trying to find the best way to like display the show. So. But it's 10 episodes, so they turned a 117-page script into 10 hour-ish long episodes. Sorry, 8 episodes, not 10, 8. 8 to 10 seems to be kind of the new standard now, which is a good length, I think. Anything longer than that, it's like a bit much. But I mean, most streaming shows are like that length now. I think one of the bigger additions for the show was the relationship between that rich girl. What was her name? That annoying rich girl. Yeah, Imogen Spinrose. Yes, her. The relationship between her and Agrias, who is a wealthy fawn. That was created completely for the show. It was, a side story that I didn't care that much for. I mean, there's almost entire episodes just about them that I'm like, the cover of the promotions shows just Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne. So who cares about these people? But it was just a side story that was basically just filler. It was okay. It was just kind of like, I mean, it was obvious that eventually she didn't like him right away. Plus, making him black was annoying. Like, I mean, we get it. You didn't need to be that obvious with it. I mean, fauns and fairies are considered, lower than the humans in this show. That's kind of the thing. So he could have just been a faun and didn't need to be black. But they made him black. I mean, I don't know. That was a bit much. They didn't need to do that. But yeah, their relationship, I mean, it was clear that she was going to start liking him and then they hook up and kind of whatever. That happens. That was something they needed to add to pad out the show. And this thing here with the Absalom Breakspear, which is also an added character, so as was his wife, who ended up being like one of the bigger antagonists later in the show. But I love Jared Harris. He's been like in so many awesome things lately, like this, and he did The Terror earlier last year, and that was great. And of course, he did Chernobyl, which is also awesome. So this guy's been killing it lately. But yeah, this whole story with him being a chancellor, because in the script there's a mayor. That's a big part of the script thing, but in the show it's not a mayor at all. It's this guy, which is Chancellor of the Republic of the Borg. I guess that's the same thing, really. And he's also Philo's biological father, which is, getting a little too twisty and Game of Thronesy, maybe. I don't know. That didn't really need to be there, because it was just kind of thrown in. Of like, oh yeah, and he's also his biological father. Okay, well, okay. That's different. The beast itself, the like creature that's like attacking the fairies. In the show, it's an actual creature. Like, I was trying to find a picture of it online, and I couldn't find a picture of it. Because in the script, it's called Unseelie Jack. That was just the name that people called it. Like, kind of like what the media called it to, just give him a name, like, Jack the Ripper or whatever. But, yeah, in the show, they just have a monster, but in the script, it actually turns out to be a person. Right here, it's the Harzapux. Yeah, but in the show, I should go over this again. Edit this part out. Yeah, so the Harzapux, or whatever it's called, in the show, is kind of mainly just kind of a side servant. It isn't as big as a character like in the script. It turns out that the Harzapux, or witch, I guess as it's called, is the one actually doing the killings. See, Harzapux. Yeah, in the show, they have her just kind of like being not as big as a character, but in the script, it's a bigger deal. And another thing is a doctor. There's a chemist or a doctor that was in the script that's not in the show at all, completely written out. I mean, just a similar type of character in it for like a second, and then he die or something. So, but I can't search this PDF for some reason. Some ones I can, this one I can't. But I'm just trying to find the character. I think it's around page 20 I saw it. Yeah, Unseelie Jack. That's why they're giving him a name, because he's a serial killer now. Yeah, that's who it is, right here. Professor Leopold Alkander. He's not in the show at all. And he was also a guy that ended up being bad. Because he's like, they're going to see him to get help, I guess, about the murders and whatnot. And he ends up being part of it in the end. But they don't do that in the show at all. Yeah, and then there's this weird area where he like, yeah, Alkander has some type of pet. It's like a cat. Yeah, suddenly it's something done like a cat jumps down on the shelf. But it's just like, covered in small leaves, pink blossoms, and has green skin. And his tail's like a vine. And they call it Thuringic Amalgamology. Did you make that up? Well, anyways, it's not on the show at all. They didn't include that, nor did they include this guy. But he had a really cool thing that I liked. He had like a glove, some kind of special glove that he would put on, and you could just put it through people's skin without having to do surgery. And I just remember reading that and thinking that was cool. But they didn't. They completely removed that. Wish I could find an example of it. I don't know. For some reason, I can't search this script because it's an older script. Normally, I can like actually just hit Control F and find something, but I think because of how old the script is or something. Because it's just a copy of the actual written script. Yeah, see the mayor? He's a pretty big part of the story, and he's not in this. I mean, it's basically the mayor is the same character in this as the chancellor, but he ends up not really being a bad guy in the. Yeah, I'm trying to find the part with the glove. Yeah, there you go. A sleek black glove out of a metal canister. Yeah, so Vignette has been captured, and he holds her steady with his bare hand. Yeah, I just think that's an interesting idea. He touches her stomach, and he puts his hand inside of her, but there's no blood or no nothing. It just hurts a lot. And pulls out eggs. Yeah, so that's another thing that's not on the show at all, is the fact that fairies lay eggs. Maybe they do, but they didn't show it. But I don't remember that being a thing. But in this, they have them being like creatures that lay eggs. Also, Vignette has no wings. That's another thing. In the script, her wings were ripped off earlier, or as part of the story, I believe. But in the show, she has her wings the whole time. So those are the biggest difference, I think, is the fact that Phil Straight and Vignette have a history, and she has her wings, and the relationship between Agreus and Imogen. Those are two of the biggest things I think they changed. And having the actual Unseelie Jack be an actual monster and not someone just doing it, or some type of creature. Like, it's still kind of a creature, but the Haruspex, stupid name. Too many names in this thing that I can't pronounce. Like in the book, in the script, it's like just as bad. But I mean, what kind of name is this? Aofi Tuscany? I don't know. See, it just sounds like some idiot white person who can't pronounce stuff. Right, Magistrate Flute, he's still in it. Some other history development, of course, is like that. When the show was going to be first come to Amazon, they were going to have Guillermo del Toro be involved. And he was going to co-write, and then I don't think he got involved at all in the end. Like, maybe he did some early development stuff and then moved on. Yeah, he's right. He moved on in 2017 because his feature film schedule, he was doing too many movies, I guess. So what else? I don't know. I need to edit this part out. This is a note to yourself. Don't include this. All right, well, that's the end of my comparison between Killing on Carnival Row, the script originally written by Travis Beacham in 2005, which is an awesome script. I'm going to include a link in the description just to people who want to read it, because you can find it online pretty easily. So I'll include a link to read it, because it's just a really great script. I just love reading it. I read it a couple times just because I like how it's written, and it's one of my favorite scripts. And yeah, I'm comparing that to the show and how much it changed, what was different. This is my first time recording a video with my new mic. I hope it sounds okay. Anyways, that's it for my cover of that, Carnival Row versus the script, Killing on Carnival Row. Like and subscribe and all that other nonsense that doesn't do much for me. I just wanted to make a video. So, anyways, that's it for me. I need to get better at this stuff. Thanks.